Hi everyone, it's Amanda Ellis of amandaellis.co.uk and Facebook page Angelic Celestial Colours. I'm making this video on the 28th of August 2013 and it's a short little piece as we stand really on the brink of quite volatile times, and it feels as though the next few days are quite dangerous for our world. And Metatron has often referred to people that work with his energy, and that includes you if you're watching this, as his spiritual warriors of light. And in a way, it's like an army of peace that's out there, that is planted all around the globe. And I think a bit like a general sometimes calls his army together in times of war, it's important that we acknowledge that Metatron can call his army that is all around the world, and these people, you and me and others like us, are here to help spread the message of light and love at this time in our planet when it actually feels very dark and heavy. In a way, it's why we're here, and we just have to hold that vision of light precisely at this moment. There's something around the period of the 29th of August, next few days leading into September, I felt it for a while, where it feels as though we're standing on a bit of a precipice. And we have to now have faith, and we have to believe that the spiritual realms are always in charge. Also, the other thing which is in charge of all of us at all times, and we forget this, and I pulled some cards before making this video for you today, is this one, which is it's called the Copper Gaia card, Copper Earth, and it says Earth is home. It's also a reminder that the Earth is our true mother, and that the Earth allows us to be born onto this planet and to live our lives here, to live our lives of 70, 80, 90, 100 years, if we're lucky. Very, very small fraction of time in terms of the Earth's history, which has been here for millions and millions of years. It allows us to be here. The Earth is a living, sentient being, and it has a consciousness of its own, and it has a very powerful consciousness, and it has its place within this amazing solar system and galaxies that are out there, which we don't even know. We don't even know half of what's out there. And it has a consciousness that is able to, I am sure, prevent us from self-destructing. And so the second card that I picked today is this one. This is Metatron in a way in a bottle. Metatron's colour is magenta. It's the magenta bridge, and this card says unpanic. It's a reminder from the spiritual realms again that they are ultimately in charge, and that we mustn't panic at this time in the world where we are potentially on the brink of yet more war, in a world that has enough war and enough aggression and enough hatred. We don't need any more of it, do we? We need peace. The next card up is the card of peace. It says blue communication and peaceful words. It feels as though Metatron is saying to us tonight that it is not too late for diplomacy. We can actually pull back. And I really pray, and I feel all of us should pray for the possibility that diplomacy behind the scenes can still go on, and maybe we can avert more tragedy and bloodshed in the name of, or whatever you believe in terms of whoever is the bad guy or the good guy. This isn't a site for political matters. It's really just a site to promote peace and love and light. And the last card we have is the green energy, and this is the green angel of balance and harmony. And really, I feel as though these colours are very critical to us at this time, right now, because there's a lot of volatile energy out there. I said in my last video that it feels a bit like a whirlwind that is out there at the moment, and everything is escalating out of control very quickly. And the greens and the blues just bring us back into that state of peace, and they're also linked into the heart. I have three energies here to talk to you about. One is water, which is about releasing emotion. The other one is the green angel of balance and harmony. And the third one is the turquoise dragon that holds the vision of the future. And it feels as though it's almost saying that we're not going to get ourselves into a situation that there isn't a future. There will always be a future for this planet. And it's important that, as Metatron says, as being a spiritual warrior of light, that we do our bit at this time to counter the heaviness that is out there in the world. Metatron is also saying to me today to pick up a book on my bookshelf, and it's this book that some of you may well have read before, but I was drawn to pick this up, and also he told me a specific page to go to. The book is Wherever You Go, There You Are, and it's by a man called John Kabat-Zinn. It's basically a book on mindfulness meditation, and it's a really good toolkit book, really, because there's lots of exercises to practice in here, as well as theory in terms of what mindfulness meditation is, which in a way is about trying to obviously still the mind. But anyway, the page that I'm told to read to you, and it's actually a paragraph, it's not a whole page. For those of you that have the book, it's on page 85, 86, and it's a technique. And the context of this is the fact that at the moment, a lot of the rhetoric out there in the world is about monsters and villains and evil tyrants. And very much as though we're being told to take sides, that there is evil out there and then there is good on the other side. And yes, that is true. That is very much what is out there. There's always good and there's always bad within our world. But this passage talks about the fact for us to remember, rather than labelling others, that we also have within ourselves both the healer, for example, and we have the monster. And it's really that the monster collectively is on the rampage out there. It's out of control. The heavy energy is out of control at this moment in time. And we can do our bit to sort of try and stem the tide of that and calm it down by looking at our own. It's a bit like our own inner monster, really. And that doesn't mean that it ever has to come out to play or come out and do anything. In most people's lifetime, it just stays as a hidden aspect of ourselves. But then we point the finger and say, oh, you're the monster, you're the one that does this and that. But none of us have ever necessarily been in particular situations where we may have been tested to maybe display traits that are more monster-like, let's put it that way. So this is the paragraph that I want to read. It says, being open to the prince and the princess. Try being open to the prince and the princess, the king and the queen, the giant and the witch, the wild man and the wild woman, the dwarf and the crone, the warrior and the healer, and the trickster within yourself. When you meditate, put the welcome mat out to all of them. Try sitting like a king or a queen, or a warrior or a sage. In times of great turmoil or darkness, use your breath as the string which will guide you through the labyrinth. Keep mindfulness alive, even in the darkest moments, reminding yourself that the awareness is not part of the darkness or the pain. It holds the pain and it knows it, so it has to be more fundamental and closer to what is healthy and strong and golden within you. It is almost saying that within any person, within any single person on this planet, they have all these different attributes within themselves. And even somebody who is playing very well the role of monster, for example, or tyrant, still has, probably beside that part of their personality, another aspect that is good and that is golden. And so therefore we send peace and we send prayers to those in authority that at the moment are displaying aggressive personality and are putting that out onto the world stage, and acts of hatred, but also knowing that they still have within themselves light and divinity, because that is the truth. And that might be hard for some of you to hear, and I may be criticised for saying that, but it is what I personally believe, and many others believe as well, that we all have divinity within ourselves, however far we have fallen, however far we have tested the limits of what is acceptable. And so really praying for those that are in the wrong to turn back and to embrace their divinity and to remember actually who they are, as well as, rather than pointing the finger at others, and saying, you are this, you are that, look at that person out there on the world stage, they are a different species, they cannot be who we are. Well, we're all part of the oneness, we're all connected, and so therefore we can heal the aspect of ourself, however deeply hidden, even though we may not even be aware of it, but just acknowledging it. And as John says in that book, putting the welcome mat out in meditation to that aspect of our personality that is deeply dysfunctional, and actually saying, I bring peace to your door. So I'd like to do that now in a very quick meditation, and I'm going to use this essence, which is the turquoise dragon, okay? And I'm just going to breathe it in and just say some words, and maybe just like to get yourself in a meditative state, just to receive whatever it is that Metatron and the turquoise dragon want to say to us today. Being reminded here by Metatron through the turquoise dragon as well, that we are all a bit like seeds that are planted, and some of us are planted in fertile ground, and we become, from the small seed of conception, we become something in our lifetime that is very beautiful, very abundant. I'm being shown the analogy of a tree. So if you imagine yourself as a tree, something that is able to withstand what is thrown against it, because it has solid roots, and those roots have been nourished by people that cared for them. And so in a way, the seed that falls onto fertile ground, and by that you're born into a family, for example, that loves you, where you have security, you have safety, you have all your basic human needs met, and you are loved. And he's basically saying that there are others in our world that don't have that experience, and the seed comes in and it actually lands on barren land. It lands on land which has no nourishment within itself and no means of supporting or developing the growth of this seed. And that seed is exactly the same type of seed as the one that turned into, for example, a beautiful acorn tree or a great oak, and that people look at in the future and think, my gosh, how beautiful, how wonderful, look at that, look at the energy that that holds. But the seed that falls on the barren ground doesn't have any of these gifts at the start. And what happens is that they become shriveled and dry, and they have to reach out and take nourishment from anything that will help the seed to survive and to grow. And sometimes these people and situations around them are not of a high vibration. They can be abusive, they can be evil themselves, they can be negative. And so the seed grows and it starts to deform because it takes on the consciousness of those around it. But it still holds within itself the potential that it had right at the start of its incarnation to be just as beautiful as the other. But it takes a different path, and because it's landed on barren land, it never has the chance to grow and to be beautiful and to be loving in the same way. There is no example that has been given to it. There's no nourishment that has come in. And sometimes then we have other people coming in later in its life, and as the tree grows and it grows weak, others take advantage of it. And so I'm being shown here by Metatron, it's almost like two people coming into the world, and one lands on fertile ground and has a nourishing upbringing and comes in with love. And it's very hard, if you've come in with love, to turn away from that. You can, of course, but it's more unlikely. But those that come in at the start and just fall on barren land with no nourishment, with no love, they struggle to basically reach the same amount of beauty, and so they become distorted. And he's really just using that parable really to show that even though on the right hand side we can see the one that landed on barren land, and it looks ugly and distorted, and we wouldn't want to be necessarily beside it. It still has within itself the essence of goodness, and equally going the other way as well. We have to sometimes acknowledge that people around us in our world, and obviously magnified on the world stage, this is really exaggerated as an example, but these people haven't necessarily come in with what we've come in with. You cannot go out and destroy if you come from love. It is as simple as that. So all we can do really is put out the welcome mat to those aspects of ourselves that may be a little bit withered inside, as well as being full of gratitude for what we actually have at this time. I'm going to pull in the energy of one more one here, which is the green angel, which is the angel of balance and harmony. And it's saying, again, using the analogy of these two trees, for the tree that is withered and diseased and capable, if we take it to a human level, of harming other people, what you don't do is pour more rain onto it. You actually would put sunshine onto it, wouldn't you? You'd throw love at it, you'd throw joy at it, which is the exact opposite of what we often feel we want to do with people out there on the world stage who are causing massive harm and evil. But it is what we're being told to do here. As spiritual warriors of light, we have to love whoever is coming into our consciousness. And if as a world and as a collective we have people on the world stage at the moment who are dubbed evil, and may well be evil at this present time, but Metatron is just reminding us that they still have within themselves that golden divinity, which if enough of us maybe recognise and see them through those eyes rather than just through the eyes of the monster, they may start to remember that actually they have it within themselves as well, and to shower love on all people on both sides of the equation, on all countries who are at war at the moment. To try to not take sides, I think, is really the message that we've got coming through here. And I know that's hard, but it is the message that's coming through today from Metatron and these beautiful green energies as well. So to end on, like I often do, let's pull one more card out for the next few days, and I'm going to do another energy broadcast for September in the coming week or so, but I want to get into September before I do that. This is an interim one. I keep saying that, but Metatron keeps telling me that I need to be saying various bits and bobs, so thank you for watching these videos. Right, end one to end vibration. Pink angel. It's the angel of love. In a way, it's summing up what I've just, the one on the bottom. I always look at the card on the bottom as forgiveness. The energy of love and forgiveness is the only energy out there that can help heal our world, and also that can help heal our aspects within ourselves that are dysfunctional. So, on that note, I send you love tonight, and I send the world love tonight, and I also send love to those in positions of power who may be abusing that at the moment and creating havoc and pain and bloodshed, but giving them love rather than the energy of more hatred and more fear is the answer. Thank you. If this has resonated with you, please pass it on. Speak to you soon in a week or so. Bye for now.